Right, I'll just do the usual bit of faff to see if anybody turns up. It's very last minute this, I usually do this at 4 o'clock. So if you're watching this in the future, it was a bit of a last minute thing. I think the lights are okay. Hang on. There it is. Just going to give it a minute before we start to make sure we got everything. Right. So I'm going to do a rundown of the my favourite tricks of 2019 with a little bit of a cheat because I think they mostly came out in 2019. One's kind of not a 2019 trick, but is. And yeah, I wasn't sure what was actually released previously in other places and in conventions. Obviously, you can get stuff in conventions beforehand. A little bit of a caveat. So these aren't what I think are the best tricks that are out there. There might be, some people are going to disagree and say, no, I've got this trick, this is amazing. Obviously, I haven't seen all the tricks is one thing, and I haven't played with them or worked with them is another thing. So I'm going to talk about my top 5 tricks that I'm actually doing that out of all the stuff I've reviewed this year, and there's been quite a bit, and I've reviewed loads of stuff I really, really like. There are things that I am still either have on me all the time, or when I'm at bookings at gigs, I'm taking them out and doing them. So I just had a string of obviously the December stuff, and I made myself do some new stuff in December, and I'll talk about what worked because I tried it in lots of different scenarios, and there's some stuff that is just going to stay with me and stay in my repertoire now. So before we do that, I just want to say thank you again to those who kind of been watching this year. We've got some regular people that have been really supporting the channel. If you do want to support the channel, going into 2020, I've invested in some new gear. Obviously, I'm on my phone now. So the plan is to do more stuff, to put more on my Card Magic course, to see where we can go with the channel, get some more footage, get some more performance footage. And if you want to support that, all I'll ask is that you hit the like button, hit subscribe, and importantly, for everybody that shares it, every time one person shares this on social media, you see the numbers bump up, and it's a very slow process. I'm putting a huge amount of time into it, and it's not a complaint. I absolutely love it. So I couldn't think of anything better to do in my time, but at some point I've got to make it kind of at least pay for itself. So if I can get the views up, it means I can get people made aware of the card course, and then more people will send me stuff to review, and it'll just build and build and build. But thank you so much for those of you who've kind of helped out. Also, this is done on my phone. It's a live recording because it's all I can do at the moment. I'm kind of been away and I've been working, so it's hard to do any editing at the moment. So that's why the audio is going to be a bit shonky and the light's going to be a bit ropey. But if you've got any questions as we're going, do fire away. I don't think there's going to be loads of people watching this live, but we shall see. So these 5 tricks aren't necessarily in order. They kind of are-ish, but I think they're good for different situations. The first one I'll mention is the Mind Power Traveller from Card Shark. And this one's the one that's a little bit of a cheat, because the reason I love this so much is because it's introduced me to the Kennedy Mind Power deck. Now, obviously, I knew kind of what it worked with, but I don't use many gimmick decks. This, when I sort of discovered what it was, I kind of thought that's quite cool, and then I tried it out and realised how strong it was. Well, first of all, I saw Christian demonstrate it, and I was like, how I couldn't get my head around it because I didn't know the intricacies. Obviously, I knew a kind of vague idea of what was going on. But it's very, very clever. The thing about this Mind Power deck is that this travel a bit, all right? So when I first saw this, I kind of thought, does it need that? And the answer is no, it doesn't need that. But as magicians, we think about this, and it didn't make sense with the effect. Again, well, clearly that couldn't go from there to there, and it's clearly a gimmick. But when I took this out and I worked with this over December, the responses were amazing. If you think about it, and if you haven't seen this, do have a Google of it. You spread the deck, someone looks at a card in the deck, and it's clearly not a deck of all of the same card. If you spread it in front of them, they look at one, you say, have you got it? If you've ever seen Darren Brown do the trick Smoke, he uses the same principle, and then you get the card they're thinking of, and then whatever you do with it. So Darren Brown is smoking it as a cigarette. It's an incredible routine. But with this, importantly, very importantly, which makes it different from a lot of the others, you then spread the deck and the card they are thinking of has vanished. Previously, you have shown a couple of queens here with nothing in between them. Let's just get these out. There you go. So you've shown them, hang on. You show them with nothing in between them, and then the card that they're thinking of ends up between them, and then again you show there's nothing in between them, and they've ended up either in your pocket and somewhere else. So the traveller bit is they've gone from the deck to between these cards that you've just shown that there's nothing there, and then they vanish from these cards and they end up in your pocket or somewhere else. Now that's why I say it's not needed. This is such a strong routine anyway. You don't need this bit, but it's a really, people, you do see them kind of not be able to get their head around it and really respond well to it. But I've also done it without this bit, and I've done it just with the card ending up in the pocket. It's ridiculously strong. It's so good. You can do so much with it. And when you learn it, it feels like it's going to be difficult. It feels like you're going to remember these things. It's really easy to remember. It's kind of intuitive. It makes sense. And what I will say is that once you start performing it, you realize that it's easier than you thought it was going to be, because there's a bit of process to it. And because it makes sense, when you actually start doing it and improvising around it, you realize that you get to where you want to be in an easier way than you thought you would, if that makes sense. Basically, what I'm saying is, try it out and then you'll realize how easier it is than you thought it was going to be. That didn't clarify things at all, did it? Do you know what I mean? There you go. So, Mind Power Traveller, have a look at it. If you don't get the Mind Power Traveller, have a look at the Mind Power deck. Just having so much fun with it. So that's one of the ones that stayed in and is staying in and is not going anywhere. Next up, we have good morning, brother. Nice review this early in the USA. Hey, how you doing, Rene? Nice to see you. So Rene, you've just missed us. Just been talking about the Mind Power Traveller, but you can watch it again afterwards. The next one that is definitely stayed in is Venom Cube. Henry Harrius. Now, there's been a lot of different cubes. Cube magic has just really gone for it, hasn't it? And I think I understand why. It's very easy to be down on cube magic. Loads of cube magic. It's brilliant, and lay people can relate to it. Sorry if it's a bit noisy outside, but I have to have the window open because it's insanely hot. Like I said before, you don't want to see me sweat. It's not a good look. Because people can relate to it, the Rubik's Cube, everybody knows it has loads of permutations. There's all that stuff you can do. There's a sort of fascination for people of a certain age, my age, being 46, etc. Because when we were kids, the Rubik's Cube was massive and none of us could do it. This year's been a big one for me because I've learned the cube. I've got really geeky about it. I'm not that sort of person who finds that kind of stuff very easy. So it's kind of reinforced that thing in me that anybody can learn anything. And the shell cube things, which are great, but always they weren't the answer for me. And this thing here is an absolute stunner. There is some footage on the channel of me performing this live. Afternoon. Hey, afternoon, Tony. So Card Magic Course member there. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Card Magic Course if you want to support the channel. Yeah, so have a look at the footage of me performing Venom Cube which is in my show at the pub up the road with a really decent audience, but an audience that ain't going to let you get away with a load of rubbish. So I've performed this now in cabaret probably 10, 12 times, and it's just brilliant. It's clean. If you do the instant solve at the end, it gets an amazing reaction, and it just feels good to do. It feels solid. It feels like it's not going to go wrong, but it can go wrong, and it did go wrong for me on stage, which is a story I told before, which I got it up there, went to do a match and went, oh, that's not going to happen, is it? And I had to literally go back to my case in front of 300 people or 200 people or whatever and sort things out, and then did it, and they still loved it and said, how the hell did you do that? So it's amazing what you can get away with. But generally, as a worker, and I'm not saying like they do on some channels, it's a worker, everything's a worker, innit? Everything's a worker, but all these are because I'm working them. But if you do cabaret and you're thinking about this and you're on the fence going, which one's the best one? I think totally, for me, this is the best one, without a doubt. Okay, so that's Venom Cube, Mind Power Traveler, my best of 2019. Now, there's most things, and I said this is my 5 best, but I think there's sort of one other thing that needs a mention. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Yeah, so we're going to do kind of 6 and maybe something else. No, I won't do that one next. I'll do, yeah, this. So this thing here. Now, Gerard Kearney, Secret Tannery. One of my early reviews, I think the second review I ever did was of the Rebel wallet, which was in 2018, I think, terrifyingly enough. Now this, I think a version of this was released before 2019, but this is the Peak Note wallet. Now I'm not a mentalist, all right? I'm not a mind reader. And I've always been one of those people that's gone, well, if you put it in your wallet, and then why would you put it in your wallet? The same with the center, all that sort of stuff. Until I did it. And I took this out to work professionally in December a lot more than I ever have. Beforehand, I'd done it to friends and stuff like that. And again, every time, you know, every time I get that peak, I go, I'm not going to get away with that, am I? And they just floors them. They don't think, why did he put it in his pocket? You can justify it anyway with some patter. But you just build it up and do your cheeky cold read, and if you get it right or wrong, and it just floors people, absolutely floors people. Wonderful to do again with a center tear and other things like that, but just, you've got it on you. That's my wallet, you know. And if you're wondering, people say, how many cards can you put in this? I've got like, you know, 10 cards in here with my business cards there. And it's great. There's 2 things I'm doing at the moment that are always on me that are amazing. One of them I'm not allowed to review, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but I'm going to talk about it in a minute. But that's on me, that's in there. There's business cards, blank business cards in it all the time. I don't use my own business cards, I just buy the blank ones, really cheap off Amazon. And there you go. Give Jeff Bezos some more money, he needs it. So we're on the last 2. Now, I'm going to have a break from this now because I haven't reviewed this product, but it's neat, deserves a mention. The reason I haven't reviewed it is I actually got some footage of me recording this and I lost it and then realized it wasn't out. It was one of those things that was out at conventions for ages. And then I bought the Peak wallet, not the Note Peak, but works well. But yeah, they're all going to be great, aren't they? This is just what I'm used to, and I just love the feel of it. So this trick here is a Roddy McGee trick, right? And Roddy was selling this at Blackpool, and I got a review copy, and then, like I said, went to review it, realised it wasn't out. I thought, what's the point? No one can buy it. It's not even going to be out for a while. And then it came out last month or a couple of months ago, and I couldn't then review it because I had a backlog. So I'm going to mention it now. And I think I love it. I love this. I love Roddy's stuff. I just love Little Door. I love them. Yes, they're not perfect for every occasion, but if you just want something cute, quirky, and everybody's going to think you're lovely when you do them, do this trick. I'm not going to do the trick, but this is basically, it's a trick that involves that. And any trick that involves the little hand is bang on in my books, because I love Little Hand. I think it's just the loveliest little thing. Dave Bonsall at Prop Dog's got all that stuff. He's got a great trick with it, which is the mini card. He's got the inside, which I use all the time with certain audiences. And Roddy's come up with a beautiful trick called Franken-Dough, which you've got to check out if you haven't seen it. I'm sure loads of people have heard of it, but it's just great. And I got it back out again the other day and started playing with it again and just thought, I just love it. This is a mini review. You've got to practice a lot of timing with it. It's not difficult, but there's some timing stuff. You've got to think about it. You've got to rehearse the moves. And I like that because it makes you, wow, it's early, I know, sorry. I put a thing out, but nobody reads the things I put out in the community because I think they don't get to most people or whatever. But so you basically, this trick, if you have a bit of dough, I haven't got it all on me, you do a coin vanish, they sign the coin, it ends up, you put the bit of dough in your hand, the dough turns into that in your hand and grabs the coin. It's mad, it's nuts, bonkers. Google it, Roddy McGee, not Little Door, not Little Hand either, Franken-Dough, and it's lovely, and it really deserves a mention. I think it's a lovely trick. So that's kind of my 5.1. That's my one I haven't worked that much, but I just love it to bits. Right, the last 2 that I'm going to talk about that I've been caning both with friends and at gigs and with family members and people that they just show us something. And if you want to absolutely floor people, do one of these, right? And one of them is going to be really cheeky but I'll tell you that in a minute. But this is probably my number 1. Ones are these 2. Level 1. all right? This is just stunning. This has been the one thing that's eradicated the Omni deck for me. And there's nothing wrong with the Omni deck, by the way. It's great, but I personally have done it so much. I just felt every time I got that glass block out, I just went, here we go again. There's something about this that's, and I've said it before in my review. I can't remember what I said in the review. I knew I loved it, but the response I get from this is it's kind of different from anything. Yes, it's like, well, but it stays with people. People are like, they really can't get their head around it. It's not just that, oh, you've made a deck vanish. They're seeing it vanish, and there's nowhere they can go with it. Constantly get the Anger level 1, right, and that's the other thing. It took me a long time. It really did take me a long time. And even when I started performing it, I wasn't that great at it. People worry about the cards separating. Honestly, I performed this the other day, and that top card, it looked shocking. It was like, oh God, because I'd loaded it in all wonky. To them, they just see the cards. They're not scrutinizing it. They don't know what's happening. I do the thing that you do know. I do a card to sign card to pocket, and then say that was the card to pocket. This is the cards to pocket. They think the trick's over, so I've done all I need to do. Have a look at this. They still don't know what's going to happen. When they see that first thing, they're kind of like, what? And then they see the last thing, and they're like, what? And then you look up at them, a little performance tip, you look up, you start talking, and then you do your ditch, all right? You don't have to, it doesn't have to all be on there, you know? Once they've seen that last bit vanish, it's done. They're just like, what the hell have you done? I'm having so much fun with this. And the fact that it's such a beautiful method, no one's ever gonna think about this, is a real, this is I think my number one, this is what, from everything I've reviewed, this is the thing that has become the thing in my close-up set. I suppose the Venom Cube is the one for stand-up. And it fits, and it doesn't take up any pocket space. Christian Grace has just come up with an absolute stunner. If you can't, beginners or not, no, it's not a beginner's trick. You can learn difficult stuff when it's not like, it's just really fiddly. But you could, I think there's some footage on my review. I was practicing it in the car when I was at a red light. You know what I mean? I just picked it up every second I could, and it started coming. But no, it's definitely not a beginner's trick, because you've got to do something in order to get ready for it. But something to work up to. It could be something. It's because they're not too expensive, and I don't get any affiliate money from this. Vanish Link's really important. They share my stuff sometimes, not all of it, which is fine. But I'm not affiliated with this. I get nothing for selling this, unless you buy it off me, because I'm going to be lecturing it at one point, but that's a different thing. So yeah, not beginners, but just something, maybe buy it if you want something to work up against, but don't think you're going to be going out and doing this within a couple of days. You're really not. It's hard, but it's a beauty. I love it. The last one, which isn't the best, that's part of, is it like Clip Shift Naki? No, not quite. It's easier than Clip Shift, I would say. Clip Shift, no, it's kind of got a similar feel, but no, you could, my Clip Shift is still a bit iffy for performance, and I've been doing it years. Once you've got this, you've got it. No, you'll get it, but it does feel kind of similar, but it's not quite as contorty. Last one, and this is why I feel like, right, it's Turner Watch, right? I'm not going to review it, because I can't review it, because I've got an affiliate link for it, because I did a giveaway for the Turner Watch. Now, the affiliate link is because I like the Turner Watch. I wouldn't have an affiliation with anything I didn't love. Right? I think you hopefully you will know that. But it would be remiss of me not to mention this, because it's the thing out of everything I'm doing the most of, because it's with me all the time. It's on my wrist. Which do you prefer to perform in a close-up, Venom Cube or Rubik's? I don't do close-up any of them really. Rubik's is great, but I get very nervous with anything connecty, if that's not giving it away. I mean, you know what I mean. Technology worries me, which is a good thing to talk about with the Turner Watch. It terrifies me relying on something, but this has not failed on me once in performance. I did a calculator thing, and I did it again and again and again and again and again over December, because I wanted to get over the fear. The thing about Rubik's and stuff like that for close-up, they kind of know where to put it. Yes, you can get, I've got a Rubik's Cube holder and all that stuff, and I've got the holder, John Allen's holder, which is great, but I still don't, I'm trying to slimline everything. So I'm probably going to keep most of my Rubik's Cube stuff as stage. That's not saying everybody should, but that's my thing. It doesn't seem to fit as well with my close-up stuff. I have done Rubik close-up. I took it out and I worked it and slayed with it. But there's another one that's similar that I'm going to be reviewing soon that has a little addition to it, which I think is a little bit more workable. But the Turner watch, I'm not saying, don't feel like I'm saying this to buy it. But, when I'm out with friends, they say, show me something. I say, right, punch these 3 numbers into your calculator, no pat or anything like that. I'll put a time into there. It's the Toxic Force. I saw you perform Turner watch. Looked fantastic. Yeah, it is just brilliant. I mean, think about it. Just think about it. You show a watch, or don't. Sometimes they take the watch off when they're doing the other stuff and they don't even know I've put it down. But you've got a watch that they know it's just a watch, and you can say that you can make a thing out of it and turn it. Cubesmith, yeah, I love it. And it's just flooring people, and of course it is, because they can't get their head. But the really weird thing is when you do the Toxic Force part of it, that floors them. So they forgot about the watch. You take the watch off if you make a thing out of it, vending machine, no. Put it down. When they get that force and they've put the numbers into the calculator and it matches either a serial number. I've done it with everything. I've done serial numbers in there. I've done it with the person's phone number. If I know them, I've done it with the phone number of the venue. I've done it with a number that's on the watch. I've done it with everything. It doesn't really matter as long as it matches something. And they go, what the hell? That gets an incredible reaction, and they forget about the watch. And as an addition, you just go, yeah, but what was that time you said? And they say, I don't know, 2:45, and you show them it on the watch. They just lose themselves. It's so strong. And like I said, there's been a couple of moments when I've been setting it up that I've had to check it's all connected and stuff. But no, I'm not. We agreed that I wasn't going to review this because it would be biased if I've got affiliation. So look. With Calculator and Toxic in the last video, it's a worker. People do all the work. Absolutely. You feel guilty when you're a sleight of hand performer like me. You feel guilty for them doing everything because you're not doing anything. You kind of go, well, I kind of don't deserve it, but that's the beauty of it, right? So love it. So just a little roundup. Things that have stayed in, not necessarily the best tricks of the year, but the things that I found that have worked and worked and worked. Mind Power Traveler. But a great excuse just to get a Mind Power deck. If you're a card worker, or if you're not and you just want to do something, does that mean I should consider the watch? I'm not going to say that because it's totally up to you. Don't take, but I'm not. It'd be wrong with me. It's the thing I've been using more out of any of it, except for level 1. So, Mind Power Traveler, great if you've got some space to spread the cards, etc. Venom Cube, love it. That's the other one. Joe Kearney's Peak Note wallet, Secret Tannery, beautiful wallet, looks like a wallet, and you floor people with it. I'm like a mentalist now. I do all this mentalism stuff. It's great. The additional one that I haven't reviewed but I love to bits is Roddy McGee's. It always makes me laugh. Ridiculous, isn't it? I've been doing it years, the little hand thing, and I still think it's great. Frankendoe, check out Frankendoe. Turner watch, it's great. Of course it's great. We know it's great, right? And level 1. They got some, you know what? I wish I was affiliated with all them things. Then I'd make some money out of this channel. So, listen, sorry I can't do the 4 o'clock today. I realised that it was kind of, you forget what day it is and I'm going somewhere at 2. But again, thank you so much. I've just invested in, this is my phone, but in new camera, new audio equipment for the Card Magic course. And you'll see the videos on here start looking a bit better once I know how often you do Mimic. Not very often, but it's brilliant. It's just not, it's just another card trick. And I do so much with cards, but Mimic is really, really nice. What do you think about Sans Minds? Let me just check my battery. Right, I can't check my battery. If I die, because I don't know how much I've got left. Not if I die literally, that would be horrific. But if the battery dies, it isn't me just hanging up on you. Yeah, Card Magic course. Yeah, cardmagiccourse.com. I'll be adding so much more onto that. I'll just finish what I was saying, then we'll go back to the Sans Minds thing. I've spent the last few days learning how to use my new camera. It's starting to get there now, and I'm just really excited about where we're going with it. What do I think about Sans Minds? You know what? I've got a real. Their trailers are awful. These overblown kind of melodramatic kind of scripts that they have. I mean, just don't, right? But that's just an opinion. I think Sans Minds are pushing it because they're think of really unique. Jason Yu, you know, the stuff he's coming out with, I really like it. Yes, some of it doesn't really work for me, and it's iffy to put together and all that kind of stuff. But the thinking behind it, and it's the same way I think about movies. I'd rather see something that was flawed but was trying to be a bit different than something that's just following the same old stuff. And you know, and you can see the mechanics that are going into this, the thought processes, which I think is not a bad thing for Magic. Now, do I think all of Sans Mind stuff's good? No, it's a lot of it's terrible. Gone Fishing by Roddy McGee. Yeah, I haven't. I didn't know. Sorry, I fed that, and you said you didn't have a good time with that, but it disappeared. But I haven't seen Gone Fishing at all. But Frankendoe, knacky, but I think you'll be happy with it. And of course, the Little Door's great. Low battery, 20%. That's all right, isn't it? So Sans Minds, yeah, I mean, anybody that's trying to put something, and you know, it is a business. I mean, they're putting out a lot of stuff, so there's going to be some stuff that, it's like James Herbert. I remember being a kid and James Herbert, the writer, was just putting a book out a week. So, yeah, would re-release Flux, that's good. And you know, you put out that much stuff, some of it's not going to hit, but it's interesting stuff. Fever, any card at any number, I don't do it. You know, I've never really done any card at any number. I just doesn't seem to be, it takes time. I think there's some amazing ways of doing it. I think to the spectator, there was a great one in Tesseract, actually. There was a really nice one in the Mike Powers book, that because don't forget that to them, by the end of it, they think you've done it anyway. They think you've done the any card at any number. So yeah, it can be clean, it can be, favourite card trick, I'll come to that in a minute. Kiki Majestic. But yeah, I don't do any card at any number. It just doesn't, I never have the time. It takes quite a bit of time. So it's not that I don't like it. I think it's a bit overrated, but other than that. Favourite card trick. Now, see, I tend to improvise with cards a lot. So I go through periods of liking different things. What am I really liking at the moment? Level 1 I'm just loving, but I suppose that's a gimmick. My favourite card trick is just a really nice, elegant, I have an elegant my favourite things to do are 4-ace productions, but done really nicely. An elegant 4-ace production put back in the deck, switch for maybe 4 kings, stuff like that I really, really like. I love those kind of switch tricks based on the Vernon thing, what's it called? Matching the cards, you know, where you think you've got the card wrong and you've got 4 7s, and you put 4 7s down, and they say, no, it was the aces, and you turn around and they call the aces. I think they're really, really nice, really simple. Are that your card? No, but I've changed 4 cards into 4 other cards. Just really magical thing to do. I've been doing playing with a lot of multiple selections at the moment, which I think are really great. If either Rob James Allen Gladwin DVD, got some great stuff on multiple selections in there. And I think, yeah, it's great. So also found a creator, I put out a lot of stuff on Penguin Magic. Every single time I've been disappointed by the method of his tricks. No, I haven't. I'm going to talk to Penguin. I don't get anything from Penguin. I got Roddy's stuff directly from him, and I get a lot of my stuff from Murphy. So I'm going to talk to Penguin. But if you want one magic that you would buy if you had just 20 quid, boom, there you go. I think it might be 25 or whatever, but without a doubt, don't bear thinking about it. It's brilliant. Level 1 that was, by the way, if the lights were rubbish and you could just look like I was holding up like a box of matches or something, box of cigarettes or some fags. So, Lord, blimey, 28 minutes. God, I've got to go, haven't I? So, thanks very much, everybody. Please do go and have a look at Card Magic course. Larry Jennings, better than Marlowe, very different. Larry Jennings, probably a little bit more commercial. I'll get strung up for saying that. But for me, but no, just much of a muchness. Sans Minds, medium trash. No, they've got some nice stuff. Yeah, have a great one. Please keep continuing to support the thing. Keep continuing to support the channel. Do check out cardmagiccourse.com. I'm making a new sales page for it at the moment. It looks rubbish, but there's going to be some more video up for that. But I'd love you forever if you sign up for that, because it's the best way to support the channel, because I've got to make it work economically at some point if I want to keep going. So see you soon. Happy New Year. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Have a fantastic have a great one, Renee. Have a fantastic New Year's Eve tomorrow. I'll be performing probably Venom Cube, or I might do the Cups and Balls if I'm feeling lazy. Have a great one. Nice one, Tony. Thanks for joining up to the card course. Like, subscribe, be lovely to each other, and thanks very much. Take care. Bye.